Hello everyone, it's Brandon here again for another video. Today I'm recording in my car because I am currently in the middle of a move, so I apologize for that. The quality will be down a little bit, but hopefully it's still good enough to work with. So the topic of today is basically it's explaining all of my contact with the gray alien species, well known in pop culture. You've probably seen images of the grays or a little caricature of them or something where they're waving next to an Area 51 sign or something like that. You've probably heard of them. And there's a reason why they're in pop culture, and there's a reason why people believe they exist, because they do exist, and I can tell you that for sure, because I have been in contact with them telepathically, not physically. I have not seen any physical aliens. I was not abducted into a ship by any physical means, but as I'm going to quickly recap, I made a video about my psychic abduction that happened as in the form of a lucid dream. So let's just start there. So when I was probably between 5 to 7 years old, my neighbor and brother started teasing me about how the aliens were going to abduct me, and they instilled a lot of fear in me. And something that's important for us to cover here shortly, this ties into the law of one, which is the primary law of our universe or any multiverse. And that is that everything is ultimately one being or one thing or one, you could picture it as a machine, and each entity within it is just merely a cog within that machine, or a cell within that body, and the total body being God itself. So anyway, how does the law of one play into this psychic abduction? So a lot of fear was created in my mind around alien abduction, and then one night when I was about 8 years old, I had an incredibly vivid, lucid dream that the gray aliens, they were actually slightly more brown than how I had seen them pictured in pop culture. But I saw them running around my house. I saw their ship land. Like I was, looking out the windows of the house, and I saw them running around. I don't remember ever being taken on the ship. But also there is kind of a gap in my memory in that dream. So the dream ends, if it was a dream, I don't know. It could have been real, to be honest, but it did feel like a dream. So the dream ends, and as soon as the dream ends, I feel something cold physically touch my arm. And something, in the physical, real world touched my arm, and it was cold after that dream. Very eerie to have the most vivid dream of your life that you are seeing aliens, your biggest fear, and then to feel something physically. So anyway, let's continue on. So with the law of one, beings like the Greys are not allowed to interfere with human life typically. They are not allowed to come down physically and study us or do anything. Although they are allowed to do it just ever so often. They're not allowed to do it very often. Every once in a while, they're kind of given an opportunity to come onto our planet in a physical form, but it is very rare. So I do not believe I was physically abducted. What happened is, and this is described in The Law of One, it's a series of books, you can look it up. I highly suggest you do that for your own personal and spiritual growth. But anyway, the Law of One states that beings like this, beings that would like to interact with humanity but are potentially not positive enough, or are simply just too advanced, and it just wouldn't make sense, and it would impact our personal evolution as a species. They are allowed to come as thought forms. So they are allowed to come in the form of dreams, in the form of thoughts, in the form of hallucinations. In that reality, they are allowed to come, and they are allowed to contact us as thought forms, but not physically. They're not physically allowed to mess with us most of the time. They are every once in a while, but so they're very well are real accounts of people being physically abducted, but like I said, those are rare. Obviously, you probably don't know someone who's been abducted, because it is very rare. Even psychic abduction, that is still pretty rare. You still probably don't know, maybe one person, maybe a couple people who have had a psychic abduction and they had no idea what it was or that it was even real. So anyway, let's move on. So we've got the beginning of my story out of the way with the psychic abduction at around 8 years old. Fast forward my teenage years, all that kind of stuff, and into my early adulthood, and even up until now, I've had an intense fear of aliens still, partially based on that experience, and based on the fear that was instilled in me, even before the abduction. So I slept with the light on. I still sleep with the light on. I cannot be in darkness, or I will hallucinate an alien in front of me, and it is extremely scary. I will hallucinate basically the outline of an alien in my room or wherever I'm sleeping if I'm in total darkness and there's no one around to help calm my fear. So anyway, we've got the abduction out of the way. Now let's get into what has been happening to me recently. So recently I did ayahuasca. If you're not familiar with what ayahuasca is, it is a ancient plant medicine, psychedelic medicine that comes from two different ingredients. One is the psychedelic itself, which is dimethyltryptamine, comes out of one of the plants, and the other plant acts as an MAOI, which extends the length of the trip that you get from the DMT. So anyway, I took 2 doses of ayahuasca during ceremony, 2 separate nights. It was a whole weekend, and after the weekend, I made the decision to go off of my medications. And then one night I was driving, or I was at my dad's house checking on his house while he was out of town, one of the two. And I had this intuitive thought that I needed to contact the gray aliens. So what do you do when you have that intuitive thought and you're a human being on planet Earth? You immediately go to Google and you say, I think I went to Google, and then it took me to YouTube, and I watched an hour-long video of a woman channeling the Greys, channeling their consciousness, and giving their thoughts on it to certain answers that a lot of humans have about them. And she covered in the video, what was her name? Kristen Davies. You should look her up. She's got great spiritual content on YouTube. She's an amazing medium and channeler. But she talked about how to contact the Greys. And it is literally as simple as you allow them to come into your mind. You give them permission. You give them consent. You can do that verbally. You can do that just with a thought. Whatever. That's all you need to do. Now, here's a little disclaimer. If you're not a spiritually developed person whatsoever, and you try to contact an entity using your own telepathic abilities, you're not going to contact shit. You're not going to contact anyone. no one's going to come in because you're so closed off to the possibility that there could be something spiritual. If you don't believe in this, in aliens, if you don't believe in spirituality, if you don't believe in higher consciousness, if you've not had higher consciousness experiences, if you don't meditate, if you haven't done self-inquiry, if you haven't read spiritual holy books for thousands of hours, I mean, there's a big list of things that I've done that have made me prepared and ready to receive telepathic communication with an alien species. Okay? This isn't for everyone, and not everyone is going to succeed at it. But it is literally as simple as, once you are spiritually skilled enough and developed enough, you give them permission to come in. And as soon as I did that, oh, I'm getting them right now. Oh, shit. They gave me a slight little nudge right there. Not a nudge, but it was a crown chakra sensation opening. But as soon as you give them permission to come in, if you are developed and they wish to contact you, which they probably do, they need to research humans, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I gave them permission, and then I got crown chakra opening communication. It feels like a freshness in the top part of your head, like the top half of your head, basically where your brain is, basically your whole brain, and it can extend further down in your face. I've had it extend down my right arm once, but it can go into your brain, like your brain area around, all the skin around here. Basically, when I say crown chakra, I'm simplifying it a lot, and I'm using the 7 chakra model, which is very, basic. We have hundreds of chakras in our bodies, and they basically tap into all of the ones basically around here and up. They contact me. That's how they contact me, through that chakra. And it feels like a freshness, like a tingly sensation. Almost like the feeling of like when something makes you numb, but you're not, there's not like that heaviness to the numb feeling. It's very light and it's very positive. It feels very good. So anyway, I was driving home and I started getting that sensation, those sensations, very strong, but not super strong, because I was still driving. And I think they very well knew that they couldn't give me the full effect because I was operating a motor vehicle. It would be dangerous for me. So they waited. As soon as I got home and I laid in my bed, I actually took like 2 or 3 hits off of my THC vape. Because I wanted to go to, I think I was ready to go to sleep. And I wanted to try to sleep. But I think I ended up leaving the light on. And I laid down in my bed. And then pretty much just as soon as I laid in my bed, I was, sorry, got a distraction here. Someone sent me a message. As soon as I laid in my bed, I had, for 2 hours long, the most intense telepathic communication I could have ever imagined. And it was amazing. I've taken 5.87 dried grams of magic mushrooms before. I've taken 10 tabs of LSD. I've done ayahuasca. I've had some very, very peak experiences in my life. I also have bipolar disorder type 1. I've had some very crazy peak manic episodes without any substances. Okay, so just know that I'm a very, very established psychonaut. Even though I've only had a dozen trips. They've all been pretty much high dose trips. But anyway, this telepathic communication with the Greys was so fucking strong. It just put me on my ass. I mean, it was amazing. And, I actually had, for a moment, I shared with them what human arousal was like. That was probably the most intimate moment between us that we had when we were in telepathic communication. I just got like a chub, like a half boner, and I wanted to show them what human arousal was like, because they don't reproduce like us. They don't have sex. They don't enjoy it. That it's not like that. So to them, it's a very foreign idea, and maybe I'm the first person to ever show them that. And I think that I like that idea. I think it's quite possible that I might be the only person to have ever shared with their species what human sexuality is truly like. But anyway, so there was that peak experience. It lasted about 2 hours, and then it was over. And then my life went back to normal, but pretty much every day, most of the time at night, I received telepathic communication from them. It usually was only once or twice a day, most of the time at night, but and it wasn't nearly as strong. Sometimes it was just very subtle, very light. Other times it was still pretty strong. Tonight I got a very strong one for them, for me, for now. Like, I think they gave me that 2 hour experience to show me what it could be, and they wanted to show that they're interested and they're grateful. But, today I got a very strong, and I'm getting a little bit now. Yeah, I'm sensing him now. Anyway, I got a very strong sense that there are bad gray aliens. That was confirmed to me through the telepathic communication. It doesn't come in like words or pictures or anything like that. It's just the crown chakra opening, crown chakra activation, and that sensation. That's how I communicate with them. But I asked them the question when I got the pretty deep telepathic communication tonight. It was basically when I started thinking, should I make a video about this? And immediately they came in and they basically said, without saying it, but giving me that sensation, showing me, yes, make a video about this. And then I had the thought, are there bad gray aliens? And they said, basically confirmed that, yes, there are, but there are also good gray aliens. And they didn't confirm this telepathically, but what I believe it is you can picture it like humanity. The reason why the grays even contact us, it's all just research. It's pretty much all research based. And it's based around their spiritual growth. So the reason why they communicate with us, or the reason why they study our species, is because human beings have the greatest ability to develop spiritually of any being that has ever existed. Any angel, any dragon, any whatever, anything that's ever existed in imagination or reality. Human beings are the highest incarnation in a sense. Human beings on planet Earth, because we can go from the lowest depths of spirituality. We can be completely lost when we come into this incarnation. And then in that one incarnation, if we did everything right, if we did everything right that was right on our path, we could become fully enlightened and go back to our Heavenly Father. I like to say Krishna, or you could say Heavenly Father if you're talking about Christianity. I've got my rosary beads here. I am a Christian, but I am also Hindu. I mean, I love Hindu philosophy, mainly the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. I really love those spiritual texts. I get into them a lot. So anyway, they come to research humanity because of our ability to spiritually progress. The reason why they care so much about spiritual progress is, for one, I mean, it's the most important thing you can ever do, is to progress spiritually. Spirit is always higher than the other modes of existence. But the Greys have what they described to Kristen Davies when she was channeling them. They have, it's like this black wall, like this gigantic black wall is how they picture it, blocking their spirituality. And they can make no progress whatsoever when they are trying to go through their incarnation in the body of a Grey alien. They don't have the capability to progress whatsoever right now. And they've been studying it for probably tens of thousands, maybe more, maybe millions of years. I don't know how long they've been studying it, but it has been very long compared to humanity and our civilizations and technology. You know, agriculture's only, and cities have only been around for roughly 10,000 years. They've probably been studying this spiritual problem for more than 10,000 years, and they haven't made any progress really. And that's why they've come to study humanity. That's why they've come to make hybrids with humanity, which I don't know much about the human hybrid topic. I don't know what the experts say out there. I don't know if any human hybrid, I forget if Kristen said in her channeling if there are hybrids on Earth. I believe there are. I don't know if I'm a human hybrid. I think it is highly likely, if there are hybrids on Earth, that I probably am one of them because of this ability to communicate with them. It's obviously very rare. And that's why, you know, this video could, to most people, seem like some crazy person's rant. And it makes it even harder because I have bipolar disorder. So then people will say, oh, well, Brandon's just being psychotic. He's just lost his mind again on his bipolar mania. So don't pay any attention to what he says. Well, that's what the idiot will do. Yes, the idiot who, you know, follows our society and our culture and doesn't think for themselves. Yeah, you go ahead and do that. Go ahead and think I'm fucking crazy. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to give you the raw fucking truth. I'm trying to give you the real fucking information here. And I hope that you're picking up what I'm putting down. The Greys really need our help. Whether they're bad Greys or good Greys, it really doesn't matter. If you're of service to others, if you read the law of one, and you're either service to others or service to self. And I think one of the greatest services that I can do in my life is try to spread positivity and love around the topic of these Grey aliens, because they are greatly misunderstood in our current pop culture, in making movies like Dark Skies. That movie scared the shit out of me. But that it depicts Greys in the most horrible way. That's not how they really are. You know, even the bad Greys who might do something, some type of, they might do the actual physical abductions or something and go against their code of ethics that the good aliens like to follow. I don't know. I haven't had any of that telepathically confirmed yet. But I think it is important for us to start preparing for when the Greys will actually come, and when they will actually be allowed. That probably, from what I've gathered, will be in our lifetime. It may not be. But I just think it's very important that people know that the Grey aliens do exist. They are out there, and they do need our help, and we can be of service to them. So that's, but anyway, yeah, I've been getting, every day now, I get telepathic communication with them. After the first telepathic communication with the Greys, I was able to telepathically communicate with people who have, with deceased people, people who have left this earth. It mainly was people who I have a certain tie with or a love for. And those people came in, and as I said that, I'm now getting crown chakra openings and sensations, probably from a deceased person, not the Greys. So what I want to say is how you do telepathy. The Greys can help you with telepathy a lot. I mean, they opened my ability to have telepathic communication. I had some crown chakra stuff go on a little bit, but I don't think it was really telepathic communication. I think it was mainly just the chakra itself opening for, the first time. But anyway, so I've covered a lot in this video. I think I'm going to leave it off here. If you guys have any questions or want me to do a follow-up video on this, I could do a Q&A. If you want to put some questions in the description, or sorry, in the comments. But otherwise, like this video if you liked it so it can get to more people. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this, or spiritual content, or just personal development content. I make videos about business to normal worldly things. But I am starting to have more of a spiritual focus now, so a lot of spiritual content and content about bipolar disorder will be coming out. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video.